Delaware here on WDEL. It is Thursday, October 30th. I'm Peter MacArthur. Every now and again, we like to keep an eye on what is happening with the jobs market. That's when we turn to Chris Burkhard, Placer Staffing, to get his insight on things. Chris, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Pete, it's great to be on this morning.
Lots of stuff to get to. Why don't we start here? We've seen concerns kind of increase, Chris, over the state of the labor market, even with unemployment relatively low, 4.3%. But I guess the question would be, are we at the tipping point of things maybe getting better or worse?
Well, we're in a really interesting middle ground, Pete. The overall unemployment rate is really healthy at 4.3%. That's historically very low. It's not how the public feels. There's a pretty big disconnect. And the surveys state that 7 out of 10 Americans rate the job picture as poor, the economy is poor. We're in an interesting spot. Although this year we've averaged the creation of 30,000 jobs per month, right now we're losing more jobs than we're creating. And I see it in two ways. I don't know if you've ever heard the concept of job hugging, but it's what happens when things get a little tight. So right now, people are not quitting their jobs at the same rate that they have. And there's another really interesting measure. There's a lot of folks that are working part-time that want to work full-time, and they get discouraged, and they're measured on their job search. But that rate of folks that are working part-time that want to work full-time is the highest that it's been since pre-pandemic.
All right. Can you address the state of layoffs, say, compared to other recent months, and about the number of jobs opening that we're seeing?
Well, yeah, that's why this is, kind of this complex picture, because the number itself is not too bad. And the rate of layoffs in the economy is incredibly steady. Now, you read the paper in the last few days, there's high-profile layoffs with Amazon, UPS. The federal government has been ongoing. But that percentage of layoffs is historically low, like over many years. So that is kind of what's helping that number. We're still not hiring fast, but we're not laying off at a historical level. And that, in some way, that has been helping. Now, what's interesting about jobs have gone up. There's about 7.2 million jobs. It's up slightly from the summer. But what's unique is there are just about as many people looking for work as there are jobs. It's kind of a 1-to-1 ratio. And that makes it kind of hard because not every job is out there that matches the skills of those that are looking. So there's a good bit of friction in there.
Yeah, no doubt. One of the offshoots of the government shutdown, not getting the government reporting from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. There's been a renewed importance in private data, Chris. What are we learning from reports like ADP or Indeed?
Well, one big thing is that private data is real time versus reporting, a month or 2 months in the rearview mirror. In the ADP report, which reflects all private payrolls, it shows the job growth is slowing, but it supports the trends we've seen with the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We still have lots of jobs in healthcare and education. That's a local observation and a national observation. But September was not great in private payrolls. We lost 32,000 jobs overall, which is basically break even. It's not a lot of loss, but there were losses in hospitality, which comes about kind of at the end of that summer season. But more concerning, there were losses in professional business services and also construction. Now, the Indeed is more about job postings. And, as of late September, there are more postings than there were pre-pandemic, but less month over month, several months in a row, which does suggest this kind of strange softening. And they measure all kinds of different levels or sectors. Most job sectors are down in terms of posting year over year. Really only banking, which I can't find a reason why, is up. So generally speaking, all facets of business are advertising less.
Okay, this is a two-parter, and I'll ask both the parts, and then you can take off on it. How are employees working today? And we've seen a lot of articles about returning to office requirements and things like that. What can job seekers expect if they're looking for those hybrid or those remote roles right now?
My gosh, this is the number one question we get from job seekers because it's very confusing. the definition to whether you work hybrid or whether you're in the office has really become the definition of the culture of the place that you work. It's very divisive in that respect. So many companies are asking people to come back to work at least part of the week, many all of the time. There are much less full-time opportunities for you to work completely remote today. It's very common. It's the ultimate in flexibility. People are willing to work for less to get it, but it is a much smaller percentage of jobs posting. We don't see it at placers as often, but if you can get it, it's good stuff. Hybrid seems to be the most common. Hybrid is working 2 or 3 days in the office. This won't surprise anybody. There's a shift and balance of power kind of back to employers compared to where there was during the pandemic. So it's really become a matter of how do you want to differentiate your business? If you believe flexibility is an important differentiator to attract talent, you're using it and you're offering hybrid, but there's a very strong momentum to go back to the office 5 days a week, and it's being played out on the front page of business newspapers every day.
Yeah, sure thing. Talking about timing is everything here. A lot of households right now feeling the pressure, Chris, of rising costs and such. We have the holidays coming up, and people are looking for holiday work, right? So how is the market shaping up for seasonal jobs this year?
Well, Pete, I don't think we all stop and think, but a lot of people do seasonal work, do side hustles, do independent work. So this hits a lot of folks. And certainly many people take on those kinds of roles to make ends meet or have a great holiday or what have you. So we get calls every day about, like, who's hiring for the holidays? And it's sort of this holiday hiring mismatch, honestly, because there's much more interest in finding holiday work than there is holiday work. You know, the Amazons of the world are hiring 250,000 people. But it does seem like most retail or places that typically hire are continuing with the ongoing strategy to do more with less. So it's going to be hard. And what we're recommending is you got to get out there early. You got to find out. It's hyper competitive. So I think you almost have to have that seasonal job now if you're going to have it.
Right. Sounds good. Hey, Chris, thank you so much as always. And we shall chat soon, my friend.
Appreciate the time.
And if you want to find out more, go to myplacers.com. Chris Burkhard, Placer Staffing in Newark, here on WDEL.